Hello students, this is Ms. Lagoric. I'm just wanting to give you a little bit more information on the homework that is due next week. So I'm making a screencast to give you a little bit more visual and verbal support. Um, Again, you can find all homework in course outline, so let's get to this. This would be going to our last week of class, week 8. Homework for week 9, click here. And this is it. To interview someone 10 years older than you. And I want to talk about the goals of why we're doing this, how to invite, and how to perhaps ask some of these questions. The goals in doing this is to build your personal and professional skills. Personal on, I don't know if I'd call them personal skills, but personal life's what's ahead of you, understanding life and empathizing with others about the changes that will be happening as you age, because that's really what developmental psychology is all about. And then as far as professional skills, this will help you with interviewing skills and research, as far as taking large amounts of information, condensing that, weeding things out so that you can highlight the important information. And then also speaking, communication skills, how you present that. So those are the goals. And let me just remind you, when you do, this is a favor, so when you do invite someone to do this, please let them know what it is, how long it'll take, and why you're doing it. What it is an interview on the psychological changes throughout our development, and how long it will take is, my guess is about 20 minutes. I do understand sometimes people like to talk about themselves, so it could take longer than that. And why, that's the most important part. Why you chose this person in your life, to learn more about life and their relationship and importance to you. And that could be because they've done a lot for you and you want to learn more about them. You have a great relationship, you respect them, that's why you chose them. It could be that you don't know about them as well and you want to learn more about them. I've already said, but if it were me and this was my college project in college, I probably would have chose my mother, because we didn't have the greatest relationship, and this would have been a great opportunity for me to get to see her perspective and what she's dealing with in her own life at her age, and how that's different from me. So just please make sure that you acknowledge the person for why you have chosen them, because that makes a big, big difference, and it really is received in a better way, a pretty powerful way. So that being said about why we're doing this assignment and the interview request, now I'm going to pull up some of the documents that will help you. One of them is the one that we have gone over in class, and which is this one. And my guess is if you're interviewing someone 10 years older than you, it would be at stage 6, because this is basically between the ages of 18 and 30 years old. If they are 30 to about 50, that would be stage 7, right? Whoops, right here, stage 7. Okay? Or if they're 55, 50-ish plus, that's the last stage. Integrity, stage 8, versus despair. So I'm just going to kind of walk through some of these main points that I just want to highlight these to help you, along with some of the questions that you want to focus on to support and understand and learn more about what Erik Erikson did all of his research on, saying that the way we socialize in life and our relationships definitely affect the way we think, feel, act, and behave, and even our physical, especially health. So this is kind of the shorter version, and the longer version is also right below. This is the one I prefer. I think it gives you a lot more explanation, but you know, you're the expert in this case, so I would say take a read at this, highlight some of the main points so that you can have some pretty good questions during the interview. And again, the questions can be on with Blackboard, whether it's dating, whether it's jobs, whether it's family, whether it's trauma, pain, struggle, stress, the differences in, for example, technology from one generation to the next. So anyway, those are some topics. But let's go with stage 6 first. Stage 6. Erik Erikson said that if one is healthy in their way they socialize and relate to the world, they should. This is probably they're going to form some pretty good, intimate, healthy, thriving relationships. If not, they could feel and be isolated. So let's just take a look at this a little bit further. Um, as he said, intimacy and being able to relate to others as a lover or friend or just a participant in society, who you are, and how you view commitment. So some people may, be comfortable with that, and some of us may still be fearing commitment. If the fear goes on enough and lasts long enough, it really could um, affect, that's the maladjusted, if you will, self. And a quick way to say that is immature. Um, but remember, a lot of this stuff is not so obvious. So my guess is if someone's between 18 and 25, they're just figuring this all out. And 25 to 30 probably is they've had more life experience to figure it out. So things like marriage, family, social issues, finishing school, getting a job, giving ourselves nourishment in that job, etc. And in high school and as a young adult, we're still trying to prove ourselves. And in this aspect, Erik Erikson's psychosocial development is saying that we are trying to figure out us as part of a unit, if you will, couplehood. Who am I in a relationship, as a boyfriend or girlfriend? Because now we have two different attitudes, mindsets, behaviors that we're trying to perhaps merge into one, as a unit or couple. Um, so this part talks really about how society can make this a little bit of a challenge. High tech, people communicate a lot through technology now. People move quite a bit now. And modern life has done great things for us, but this also might impede on some of those intimate relationships. Um, um, Talking about giving to the community and what's your play in the community, because at this age, between 18 and 30, people are thinking about owning their own, having their own space, living independently, whether that's an apartment or owning their own home, etc. Um, but then who is that community? Neighbors in your building, neighbors in your neighborhood, uh, things like that. So he also, Erikson talks about promiscuity and our sexuality. That Freud spent a lot of time doing research on this, but Erikson's saying at this age, this is the baby making years. So if one is flourishing in that promiscuity, if you will, um, intimate too freely, too much without boundaries, and if the opposite of that, the malignant or maladjusted, be called being excluding yourself from communities and groups and friendships and others, not just in the personal sense. And then optimally, love. So you can read further about that. If you've interviewed someone that is middle adulthood, which is probably mid-20s to late 50s. So I think really it depends on what's active in their life. If they're in the middle of raising teens, kids, especially teens, they're probably going to be closer to stage 7. If they're just starting this all, it's probably stage 6. But in stage 7, it's about generating, giving back. A generator moves energy, correct? If not, one might feel and act and be stagnant, if you will. So, at this age, you want to talk to your interviewee about what they consider about the future, and how much do they think about the future, and how has their relationships changed. This is also a good time to point out too that if we look at overextending ourselves, doing too much, promising too much, doing for other people, not ourselves, what this could also land is what we call midlife crisis. Thinking we didn't do enough then, so let's do it now, and kind of reliving the past. Most people go into midlife transition, though. They transition in their 40s and 50s just fine. But this is the age where this would happen, in our mid 40s, early 50s. So at this age, raising children, what ways do we give back? Whether through the next generation raising children, teaching, things in the arts, socially being active and standing for a cause. Too little, generativity can leave us feeling stagnant. This is where we see a lot of onset of early disease. People's lifestyle and habits made to be inactive and not necessarily positive choices in their life and their relationships. Many times addiction shows up here. And this is also the time of life in general where we're just about halfway through it. So we're thinking, am I giving, have I made the right choices? If I only have half of my life left, maybe I want to make some changes. Changes in career, changes in relationship. The divorce rate seems to be higher at about this age. And thinking about taking care of our parents, and we're dealing a lot with death, if you will, of those that we love, of the next generation. And then we have stage 8, late adulthood, 60 plus. And this is all about, did I do enough? Did I give back? Versus, if not, I feel like I've got to catch up, and it can be feel despairing. This is late adulthood. And the body, biological, has its changes, and that certainly affects our psyche, how we're aging, and how we're received in society. Dealing with illness and health right here is a big issue. And really, psychologically, did I do enough? Am I proud of my my life's accomplishments and relationships, or do I have regret? And if I do have regret, I might feel like I have to catch up, and there may not be enough time. So our sense of fulfillment, and it talks further about that here. So I'm hoping that this will help you in your process. I think the more you understand this and read about it, the better your interview will be. And again, these 2 sheets are here to help you. And this is due Monday, hard copy. And for extra credit, last point, extra credit if you want to present this to the class and tell us what you learned about life, what you learned about the psyche and how it changes according to Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages of development. Please, I encourage you to do so. It's a great opportunity to show a different side of yourself, express yourself, build confidence. I look forward to it. This is always one of my favorite projects. Thank you.